family up there from Louisville. I need them to know. I need them to know who I am. Hey, number one! You playing ball or socializing? Playing ball, huh? Come on! Don't let it get to you! Playing ball. Maybe tomorrow we'll all wear 42. Watch the game. And the waves that they dip themselves in magic waters. The memories will be so thick that I will brush in their faces. The one constant through all the years has been baseball. America has rolled by like an army of steamrollers, and erased like a blackboard, rebuilt and erased again. But baseball was marked in time. This field, this game, is a part of our past. It reminds us of all that once was good, and it could be again. How can you not be romantic about baseball?
All right, here we go on a Friday night, March 31st. I'm your host, Tim Washburn. This is First and Tim. However you may be listening, wherever you may be listening, YouTube channel, Spotify. It's been a while. Got some free time, so thought I'd put an episode together. Opening day happened yesterday. Excited about that. My Sox did not win, unfortunately. All right, so let's go ahead and start this opening segment with is most people don't like to change. Most people are stubborn. It's why very few people crush it in business. 5% of any business dominates. They're the adapters, they're the evolvers. Most people don't like change. But sometimes, let's say you're a smoker. Your doctor tells you stop smoking or you're dead. You'll never see your grandkids again. You'll be forced to stop. And then you'll find, believe it or not, sometimes even when you're forced to change in life, despite your rigidity, you benefit. That's why you should always surround yourself with smart people who make suggestions. Sometimes they're uncomfortable. With baseballs, never like change. Baseballs never like changing. They were forced to. TV ratings got into the tank. Attendance dipping. So they made 2 rule changes. Yesterday, we already see a benefit in one day. 10 out of the 15 baseball games finished in under 3 hours. Rays-Tigers game, 2 hours, 15 minutes. Many games, 2.5 hours. You can't sit for 3.5 hours when you have 6 games a week. You know, it's different in football. Football's once a week. It's tailgating. You give half a day to football. We've always, people tailgate. You get up at 8 and crack of dawn in the morning on Saturday. You spend your whole Saturday there. But baseball, it's 162 games. Many of the games are Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, and people with jobs, families, and kids can't be sitting in a stadium and a 45-minute to an hour drive home. They can't do it. So the pitching clock works. It speeds up the game by 20 to 25 minutes. Listen, it's a new rule. Football's got 6 new ones, 8 new ones every year. You adapt. Also, the defensive shift, they got rid of it. We've said this for years. You want more base runners. You want more stolen bases. You want more, you know? Action. That's why we watch sports. Drama and action. The more you have, the better your ratings. You get cricket is the national pastime, okay, in Europe. Soccer's more watched. Why? There's more action. Yesterday, there were more stolen bases than home runs. When's the last time that's happened? The Yankee game, by the way, was 40 minutes faster. 40 minutes faster than the average Yankee game last year. It takes it takes for most fans an hour to get to the game. And then you got an hour to get home. So you can't have a 3.5 hour, 4.5 hour with travel, maybe 5 people. People have lives. The games on Tuesday, Wednesday, it's different in the NFL. Even the NBA games last 2 hours, 25 minutes. They get it. Nobody wants to sit around 3 or 4 hours, you know? If it's a 7 o'clock game, you drive home, it's 11:45, 12 midnight. So 21 steals yesterday. 21 stolen bases. Activity. Moving. Action. Last year, 5 stolen bases on opening day. 4 times as many, and the success rate exploded, meaning more movement, more bases, more runs. And we saw it in one day. Jim Crane, the owner of the Astros, they get a lot of good players. They filled their stadium usually. He said, I think the game got way too long. Most people can't sit in the stands 3.5 hours. They pay the bills, listen to the fans. There's going to be 5% of fans who push back. Yes, 5%. They're retired. They have nothing to do in their lives. They don't like their wife anyway. So get me to the ballpark. There's these youngsters out here don't have a job or a family, so they can sit and drink and all day. But 75% of baseball fans have things to do, jobs, families, responsibilities. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night, they can't be sitting there for 4 hours with a 45-minute drive home. It took Major League Baseball a day. A day. They didn't want to change the sport. Never. Never wants to change. They were forced to change because of TV ratings, the lack of the water cooler discussion. Nobody talks baseball. You look at all these sports shows, it's football, basketball, trade deadline, free agency. Nobody discusses baseball. Because increasingly I see the number of people aren't watching it. You've got to be watched to be discussed. So I thought yesterday it was a home run. I watched 2 different games at 2 different times and the games flew by. Flew by. I mean, if you had 15, 16, 17 games, college football could be long. We tailgate, we get it. You're going to wake up on a Saturday morning, you know, Buckeye Nation, you know what you're going to do. Give me a Buckeye Saturday asking fans to do that on a Monday night or a Tuesday night or a Wednesday night or a Thursday night. No. Kids, family, jobs, responsibilities. So, home run. Jim Craner. owner of the Houstons. He gets it. It's the fans' attendance. TV ratings told you to tweak it. Tweak it. You've already saw the benefits. So, all right, coming up, my thoughts on Odell Beckham Jr. with his money and his current situation. Time for new tires? Trust the experts at TireRack.com. They've been crushing it for over 40 years. Passionate, knowledgeable, experienced? Go to TireRack.com. Tell them what you drive. Their easy to use decision guide. You can answer a couple of questions, get a personalized tire recommendation. They've got a full line of Sumitomo tires right now. Also, you get a free 2-year road hazard protection when you sign up. So if you hit a pothole, drive over a screw or a nail, you are fully covered. Tire Rack, they ship it fast to you and they ship it for free. Free to one of over 10,000 recommended installers. In some areas, many actually, they'll offer mobile tire installation. At Tire Rack, a Tire Rack technician brings the tires to your house or home or office and puts them on there right there for you and installs them. Game changer. TireRack.com, the way tiring should be.
Baseball's best are showing out on Fox. This is where MVPs are VIPs. All the swag, all the sauce, and all the stamps. The biggest games on the best day of the week. MLB on Fox returns Saturday at 3:30 Eastern. Subway keeps upping the game with the Subway Series, an all-star menu of delicious subs. There's the Philly, the Monster, the Bone. If I hadn't seen it in person, I wouldn't have believed it. Even this believe it stuff. The Subway Series. Try Subway's tastiest menu upgrade yet. The only thing I regret about my life was hiring local talent. If I knew about Upwork, I would have hired actually talented people from all over the world, instead of talentless people from all over my house.
The new Chase Ink Business Premier Card is made for people like Sam who make
everyday products designed smarter. Like a smart coffee grinder that orders fresh beans for you.
oh, genius. For more breakthroughs like that,
I need a breakthrough card.
like ours, with 2.5% cash back on purchases of $5,000 or more.
Plus unlimited 2% cash back on all other purchases.
And with greater spending potential, Sam can keep making smart
A
ideas.
brilliant reality.
The new Ink Business Premier Card from Chase for Business. Make more of what's yours.
Nothing feels better than having support, and the same goes for your footwear. So you've got to try Skechers Arch Fit. Skechers teamed up with podiatrists and designed footwear with podiatrist-certified arch support. Plus, they're machine washable. Get the arch support you're looking for with Skechers Arch Fit.
This is First and Tim Unfiltered segment, brought to you by
Brought to you by Jersey Mike Subs. Be a sub above.
So, Brock Purdy had a great year. Last year, last player taken into the draft. He'll be the cheapest starter in the league. He went 7-0 in games. He didn't break his elbow, and John Lynch said if he started tomorrow, he would start. That's not controversial. Well, Trey Lance has had 4 starts. He completes 55% of his throws, but it's not close. The strength of Purdy is accuracy. His coach demands accuracy. Trey Lance is bigger, little stronger, moves, nice kid, but his weakness is his accuracy. And this is what you want as a fan. You want your team to play the best players that can give you the best chance. You don't win. You can't double down on being wrong with a draft pick. He has struggled with accuracy. This offense is all about a quarterback accurately replacing the ball where Kyle Shanahan has schemed it. There's a reason they kept most of this roster intact. They don't pay the quarterback anything. The cheapest starter will be Brock Purdy. And now if Brock Purdy's injury precludes him from playing in September, October, Trey Lance wins the job and chops it up and completes 64% of his throws. It will be very difficult to pull Trey Lance out of the starting job. I've said this about Jimmy Garoppolo for years. Always liked in the locker room. He was winning games. He was a guy's guy. It's hard to pull that back. Trey Lance gets off as a, 0-5 or a 1 start. The guys like him. He had some mobility. That's Purdy, but Purdy is more accurate this year, and maybe that's why he gets the job. But today, based on what I've seen, it would not be a hot take. Subscribe to the theory that brought pretty clearly to this point gives you much a better chance to win based on his strength and the coaches and the system. All right, so this is First and 10. Welcome back. Odell Beckham Jr.'s contract asking price predictably has changed. Pro Football Talk announced it was $20 million per according to sources. Now it's down to $15 million. He turns 31 in November. We thought that $20 million, it's absurd. I still think $15 million is way too high for an older, brittle, dramatic wide receiver. And it's interesting to watch. If I could tell NFL players anything, especially guys coming into the NFL, drama's good for TikTok. It's good for Instagram. It's good for the NBA. It's bad for football. It's not your friend. It's not your friend. Cam Newton, Baker Mayfield, sometimes OBJ, very dramatic players. Look, it always ends up the same way, the same name. It ends up the same way with Baker, with OBJ, becomes bigger than the consistent production player, still views themselves as a star surrounded by yes men. 90% of the team has no interest at any price, and then they end up settling far below than what they think they're worth. This is not the NBA. It's a different sport, different sensibility, different culture. In the NBA, players have more power because there's fewer starters. Teams came to their demands. There's also very few stars in the NBA, one or two guys that can ship the entire power structure. Also, they've often make more money on shoe deals than player team contracts. It's a different sport. And that's great. I love the NBA. I love the NFL. Every sport is different. I've always said the NBA is more like European soccer. You pay Ronaldo whatever it takes. You don't do that in the NFL. Outside of a quarterback, nobody's worth more than a point a game, according to Vegas. So, in OBJ's case, he's older, he's increasingly brittle, there's a little bit of drama. He believes his values are greater than it is, or go get a college guy. The NFL gives 30 receivers a year, hands in the NFL, 4 or 5 become instant stars. Another dozen become highly productive by year 2 or 3. It's not a difficult choice, but it is not a friend of you as a professional player. I mean, look at the NFL. A great example. Jalen Ramsey. Unbelievable talent. Number 1 high school corner in the country. Went to Florida State. Number 1 college corner in the country. Florida State. Great. Comes in the NFL, arguably the number 1 corner. Jacksonville moves off him. And then the Rams just moved off him for a 3rd-round pick after having a so-so year. He didn't have a terrible year. He just had some really good games. He's still a really good player. 3rd-round pick, backup to a backup tight end, drama. Drama is your friend. It was in the same way all of us. The name's bigger than the production. Right? You believe you're still a star, but you're only in the name, only 9% of the team is not remotely interested in you, and you end up signing a contract that's well below kind of what you thought you deserved. So I'll say it. I'd love to have OBJ on my team, the Patriots. $7 million a year, maybe build some incentives to get him to 9 or 10 or 11. Bill Belichick doesn't like drama. I think a lot of these coaches don't want to deal with the drama. I think he's still a very explosive player, but 90% of the league is not remotely interested. The Rams are in Los Angeles. You know? I mean, that's a very distracted city where stars get into people into the arenas. Like LA, like the Rams. They need a receiver. They need a number two. It's Los Angeles. And they moved off of him. They didn't offer. And that's despite the fact many players on the team were like, they were pro OBJ. And despite the fact he's got a house out in LA, so it's, I said this with Baker Mayfield at the end. Bad team, tiny contract for a guy that, Baker's actually the number one pick for a reason. He's got some talent. May have been overdrafted, but Baker's got some talent. Finally ending tonight. So the Lakers are playing better now. LeBron is healthy. Now AD is healthy. And Austin Reeves, I'm going to go ahead and say it, AR-15, that's what he is, has emerged as a real offensive threat. So, Phoenix, people like Phoenix a lot with the Kevin Durant move, but Phoenix does one thing that's not great for the playoffs. Chris Paul and KD specifically, and often Devin Booker, they settle for jumpers. You say, so Tim, what does that mean? It means they don't get to the free throw line. Their coach Monty Williams explained this last week about how they didn't have enough opportunities. He was blaming it on the Zebras. They weren't getting the fouls that they needed. Well, here's your example. They settle for jumpers. They don't, you know, they don't get to the free throw line. They get the other teams in foul trouble. 28, to be exact. Then the NBA, Phoenix get into the free throw line. Nobody in the NBA is rooting against the Suns. Officials are not rooting against the Suns. They don't initiate contact. Chris Paul settles for mid-range jumpers. KD, statistically, number one settled for jumper guy in the league. Booker's off. And they don't get to the line. Meanwhile, as LeBron returns and Austin Reeves gets increased minutes, all three of the Lakers, including AD, our top players are attack the basket guys. AD, LeBron, and Austin Reeves just initiate contact, so the Lakers are going to get to the free throw line. In fact, they lead the league in it because they initiate contact. Malik Beasley, a three-point shooter, has vanished. He didn't even play anymore. He's gone into the tank. So that's the reality. Do you hear the teams that shoot free throws? You think the league's really rooting for the Kings? No. They have players that initiate contact, by the way. Miami initiates contact. And so the Lakers are going to. I've said this before. I don't think they're a championship team. There's a couple sources out there that think they can make it to the finals. I don't think they're a champion. Why? Because the health of AD and the health of LeBron. I do not believe they can win 3 or 4 straight series. They'll fall apart physically. But I also predict that they would open up with Denver. They beat them. They get to the free throw line, and they're a better defensive team. So, the two things in playoffs that matter. Two of the things that matter, and they matter a lot. Get to the free throw line and get other team players in foul trouble. And you play good defense, and the Lakers under Darvin Ham playing excellent defense, I do not see them as a championship team. But just get ready for the conspiracy theory. Because if they ended up playing a team like Phoenix, they'd have double the free throws. I don't, especially if KD, Paul, and DeAndre Booker can stay healthy. But if Phoenix does beat them, you do realize they'll do it in shooting half the free throws. You know, I mean, we whine about the threes with Golden State. By the way, they settle for threes. Golden State shoots threes. They have very little front court scoring. The Warriors, if they played the Lakers, would shoot far fewer free throws. Free throws. Sacramento plays Golden State. I got news for you. Sacramento initiates contact. Would get to their free throw line far more than the Warriors. Now, the Warriors have the greatest three-point shooter of all time, and arguably Klay Thompson, on any given night, the second best three-point shooter. So they can get away with it here. But, here come the conspiracy theories if the Lakers make the playoffs. Thanks for listening to First and Tim. Listen on my YouTube channel, First and Tim, or on Spotify. Follow me on Twitter or Facebook page for all the sports news and moves.